everybody, welcome back to Evolved Equine Partnership. If you're new to my channel, I am Brooke and welcome. Today I have Spirit here and we are doing Desensitizing Day 2 with her. So if you have not yet watched Desensitizing Spirit Day 1, go ahead and watch that video. I will put the link to it in the description. But today I have Spirit again and we are going to be working on some more desensitizing. So last time I only worked on the left side, so that is the side I'm going to continue on today. I took my mic off because it's starting to rain and I don't want it to get wet, so I will talk a little louder. I'm just kind of reviewing with her what we went over last time, yesterday, what we went over last time I worked on this, and she's pretty good. She's still a little bit scared of it rattling, so I'm gonna just really work on it rattling, and I'm still working on the left side, and I've only worked like up to the end of her shoulder kind of. I haven't worked any farther than that because she's not comfortable with it yet, so once she's fully comfortable with me rattling it up on her shoulder, then I will move on. Good. Good. Really fun. Okay. That's your best. Okay. So she's still a little bit unsure about the flapping, but she's gotten a lot better. As long as it's not flapping for too long, she's okay. So I'm trying to kind of flap and then rub and then flap and then kind of take it away. You just kind of have to see what works for you and what works for your horse. Every horse is different. Missy, I could fling this around her face all day long and she honestly wouldn't care. But Spirit, on the other hand, is a little more scared of it, and some horses might take longer, some horses might not take as long. So I'm just going to continue on working with her, a little bit more flapping, and then I'm going to start just slowly rubbing down the rest of her body on the left side, and then seeing where we're at, we may move on to the right side today as well. I am going to start rubbing down the rest of her body with it. She's really good about it flapping. Again, as long as it's not flapping too long. But yeah, she's pretty good about it. Sometimes she's like, where is it? And gets a little nervous, but then as soon as she can see it, she's totally fine. So she has gotten a lot better with it, and I'm going to now start rubbing down the rest of her body with it. Now that she's basically accepting of it up in this area, she's way more accepting of it with the rest of her body because she trusts it more than she did when we started. So I'm just going to continue going with the rest of her body on the left side, and then if all goes well, we'll move on to the right side. Yeah. I have seen an incredible shift in Spirit today with being totally scared of it flapping to now being totally accepting of it flapping. Even her legs and her belly. I'm being cautious on her back legs because I just don't want to risk her kicking out. But she's not really showing any signs of fear or that she doesn't like it. So I'm going to move on to the right side. So I'm actually gonna move on to the right side, but first I'm gonna give her just a 5 or 10 minute break to kind of just process everything that we just went over and to just really think about it and to process it all, and then we'll come back and it's just the cat. Then we'll come back and do the right side. Okay, so I'm back and I let Spirit have a quick little break and I put my mic back on, so now I have to not talk as loud. And she had a nice little break. She was kind of just standing there yawning and licking and chewing the whole time, which is really good. And so now I'm just going to do one more time on the left side, and then we'll start on the left. Right. One more time on the left side, and then we'll start on the right side. Good girl. Girl. Oh, and look at that big yawn. Good girl. Not so scary after all, is it? Not so scary after all. All those times you were so scared of it, but it doesn't teach you. Now I'm going to start with her on the right side and see how she does. Good girl. So you can see right away that she changes and she gets a little bit scared of it, but it's a whole different world from the left side to the right side for a horse. So that's why you always work on one side first and then the other side. And I always like to do whatever I do on one side, I do on the other. So I mount from both the left and the right side. I dismount from both the right and left side. I saddle from both sides. I like to do everything on both sides. And it's really nice because sometimes when we're trail riding, there'll be a tree right here on the left side, and I can't get off on the left side, but I can't walk forward anymore for a certain reason. Well, then I just get off on the right side and I don't have to worry. But of course, on other people's horses that I don't know, I always get off and on and saddle from the left side because you just don't know. But for me, everything I do on one side, I like to do on the other, but I always start on one side and then work my way to the other. So I'm just going to start by rubbing her down on this side. I'm not going to start by flapping or anything, just because she hasn't seen it on this side and felt it on this side, only on the left side. Good girl. If your horse wants to have their head turned, let them have their head turned, because when her head is turned, before, when I first started, when her head was turned, she seemed like she was way happier about it, so it's a good thing to let them see it and watch it. Good girl. You're a good girl. bag. It's a silly silly. What you see now? Where'd the silly kitty go? So I've basically rubbed her whole body down with it, and she's basically totally fine. It's so funny how on the left side they get used to it, and then on the right side they're better with it when you start. So or vice versa, right, start on right and on left, whatever. So now I'm going to slowly start flapping it and seeing how she does with that. Well, that went really well. I've flapped it all over her right side. code. You be careful, mister. I think that is a great place to end with her today for day 2 of desensitizing. And this has only been using a bag on a stick. I still have some other things I want to use to desensitize her. So this was only day 2. Stay tuned for when I do day 3 and day 4 and day 5. And at the end, once I'm done fully desensitizing her, I'm going to be setting up a obstacle course. Obstacle/desensitization course to test their desensitization and their obstacle type stuff. So I'll be riding both Missy and Spirit over it. I'll do Missy as a demonstration of how to do it, and then I'll ride Spirit through it. And it'll be things like picking up this stick and waving this kind of while riding her. It'll be walking over a tarp, throwing a rope off of her, kind of just some things like that to help get her desensitized from me being on her. So that is where I'm going to end today with her, is where she's basically fully accepting it. And now we're going to move on to some other desensitization tools. But she has been, what a good girl. Yeah. I'm gonna go get her a big carrot and then she can go finish eating her hay. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Please feel free to ask, and I will leave the link in the description of day 1 of desensitizing her, so be sure to go check that out, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye! You want to come with me, or are you going to stand there? Come up here. Come on, Miss Lady. Good girl.